Today on Gamers Couch,
Viticulture.
Hello and welcome to the couch, the first one of 2016. We hope you had a very good new year or start into the new year. Welcome back to the couch. Again, we're talking board games. Nothing has changed there, but you might notice a bit of a change in audio and video because we're using new equipment, and if this doesn't work out, we'll get it fixed by next week. But yeah,
Let us know if you think there's some stuff we should address or change in that form. But yeah, some changes on the technical part happened, and we just got older.
Yeah. We got aged, not old, aged like a good wine.
The
segue.
The segue is already happening.
Which leads me to, yes, we are drinking alcohol tonight because the game
I'm sorry, but this is
not
again,
the alcohol
grape
you're looking
juice.
for. Yeah, grape juice. We're drinking that because we talk about the game today. I'm gonna tell you. Today.
It's not dark outside. We're not recording this in the evening. No.
Not the night before. No.
It is Sunday, sunny Sunday. Tomorrow.
It's somewhere.
Soon.
Somewhere on the planet it's sunny. So we're drinking wine today because we shoot it in the evening. We shoot videos responsibly, even if we have alcohol in it, because the game is just so perfect for it.
It's just a prop.
Yeah, but if you're new to the channel or haven't seen this vlog series yet, and it starts again, and haven't seen the vlog series yet, let me introduce us. This is my sweetheart. This is Daniel, my lovely husband and board game nerd. And my name is Sarah. I'm the artist behind Pinselgeschichten, the owner of this channel, and also a huge board game nerd. So perfect for noob nerd for this vlog. Also, we got a new character to introduce to you, and it's BB. We are totally nerdy adult children, and we got ourselves a little BB who's on the couch with us and currently hugging Cthulhu. So if you hear weird noises that the audio picks up, it's BB. It's not us. Nobody's farting on this vlog.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry.
But getting back to the board games, what we do is talk about the general rules and gameplay of a game. Then we talk about what we liked and not liked about the game. And then we share funny stories and experiences. And we don't know from each other what we
don't know
say,
each other at all.
That
is the surprising twist of the show. We don't know. We forget who we are each day, and on each Sunday It's
called dementia. So we don't know what the other person
marriage.
or marriage, right? We don't know what the other person thinks about the game because we don't talk about it before we have it on the couch.
Again,
so
at all.
This is unscripted. We are just as curious and surprised by the other person's opinion. That's what I wanted to say when you so rudely interrupted me. Now let's bling the glasses, have a sip, and then you can... No, with my glass, make the bing.
Yeah, my bing was better.
I have the mega bing.
I was just about
Crash.
This might be the first show of the...
No. Let's have a sip and then you can talk about rules and gameplay of Viticulture. And we drink a French Corsair is, I think, a Cabernet. I forgot. But it's a sweet, lovely,
to
dry
you and
wine. In a new year.
Good start into the new year.
Let's do the board gaming.
Obviously, this is just to get more views because the tremendous success of our latest review regarding the murder simulator, The Bloody Inn, which also might have featured us.
Drinking, yeah.
I'm not saying getting drunk on camera, but at least
tipsy.
having props that are very much adjacent to the theme of the game.
Yeah, and I preferred the wine to the knife.
True. Today, this is even more the fact because we will talk about viticulture, and viticulture is a game about making your own wine. You will have your little wine thingy, wine fields here that allow you to raise different grapes. The grapes will be harvested, go down into these little what are they called?
I know the German word.
Very good, the Bottich, which is a good thing that you learned some German today.
German lesson of the day. Check.
The crush pad, as it actually says down here. But,
oh God!
But the first sip of wine obviously made me incapable of reading again.
So embarrassing.
So from there, after having crushed the grapes, they will get filled into little glass bottles into your cellar where they can age a little bit more. And finally, you will be able to sell those bottles to customers and make them happy when they do board game reviews on YouTube. Now, that's not the only board of the game, because there is, and I'm holding this correctly, another game board, which is kind of the general game board where everybody plays on, which also neatly shows you that this game is essentially, well, it's set up in 4 different phases, which go according to the 4 seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter, that allow you to do only different things. In fact, it's pretty much just 2 big phases, but let me just walk you through this, and we'll get through the entire game quite quickly. So it'll start up with spring, whereas in every good worker placement game, you will place your little whatever. No, what are they called? The cock?
Oh,
It's
a cock. Yeah.
But there must be a better way for
male chicken.
Yeah, what wasn't there? Whatever, rooster, I think.
Rooster, yeah, that's the other word.
See, it's coming back. We've not been doing this English-speaking video stuff for a long time.
Talk about yourself. I shot a lot of videos.
It's been an entire year since... No. So you'll start by deciding at which position you will go in this year doing stuff. If you want to go first, you don't get any bonuses, but the further down you go, the more or the bigger the bonus is. Either you get a green card, a purple card, and I'll get into those. You get some money, or you get an additional worker, or a victory point. By the way, victory points will be kept track of down here, and you can see already here, whoever goes to 20 victory points first ends the game, and then who has the most wins the game. After deciding who goes first at what, or wakes up first, in spring we go to summer, and in summer you may only use those yellow fields on the left side of the board, as well as play plant green cards, which are kind of your grape cards, what you want to put on fields, or play yellow cards, which are special events that happen only during summer. Apart from that, you have a couple of things you can do. As I said here, play yellow cards, draw green cards, plant green cards on your little board. You can sell one of your fields or sell grapes, and you can buy them back. So that is actually pretty cool for the start of the game. You can give a tour to gain money. You can build a structure, and that kind of concludes on what you can do in summer. Moving on, in fall, you draw 1 visitor card of your choosing. So visitor cards are either the yellow or the blue cards. And then you go straight into winter, where everything is kind of centered around not planting your grapes, but harvesting grapes and making wine by either drawing these purple cards, which are the cards that will give you victory points for fulfilling wine orders. You can play blue cards, which are essentially the same as yellow cards, but only kind of thematically for winter in terms of events. You can harvest 1 field, so you can kind of take a look at what have you planted at the field and fill your little grape crusher with tokens. You can make wine, that is moving the tokens from the from the crush pad to the cellar and making wine bottles. You can train new workers and increase your workforce. And lastly, you can fill and order a purple card to gain victory points. What's also true for all of these fields, which you might notice, there's several spots here, and depending on the number of players, you may only use 1, 2, or 3 of those. But if you will say, for example, are the second one to place a worker here, you would get an extra green card. Here you would get an extra purple card. Here you might play another yellow card. So you get a little bonus for coming in second on those things, and allowing you to do interesting stuff. And after all that was done, you will age the grapes and the wines that you have on your board, and I'll show that on the little board soon. You get your workers back. You collect payments, which is 0 at the beginning, but for fulfilling orders, you will get perpetual, what's it called? Residual payments that will give you money each year and kind of make you represent you being more well known, having more customers, and having more money come in. Lastly, you discard your cards down to 7, and kind of the new round starts from there. Let's go quickly back to your board, just to show you where what is. You have 3 fields at your disposal, which will get placed on top of the board, like so.
Need a hand?
And when I say you can sell a field, you would just turn this over, say sold, and the value of the field is already presented here on the card. So you have a field that has kind of a harvest value of 5 and is worth 5 coins, the same for 6 and for 7. Now I said you can get the green cards, which are these here, which are essentially types of grapes that you can use for wine. For example, there was a Sauvignon.
Hold it.
It
magically reappeared.
Oh, it's also a Sangiovese. Of course it had to
Beer
follow.
drinker. Beer drinker. You're not the wine connoisseur.
No, I just misread.
Oh.
That's
illiterate. Sorry. Oh, I love you.
So you have these little green cards, and each grape has a value attached to it. So this non-Sauvignon Sangiovese has a red 1 here, whereas the Merlot has a red 3, and the Chardonnay has a white 4. You might have already guessed it, but red and white tell you what type of wine or what type of grape you're doing. So if you have, let's say, the Merlot and the Sauvignon, let's take the Chardonnay and the Sangiovese on one field, that would look something like this. And you would harvest that field, you get 1 red grape and a value 4 white grapes. So you pick up your there's some really cool, nice little glass beads. I hope you can see them. And you place them on here, which looks like this. And so I would place 1 on the red 1 and 1 on the white or yellow, whatever you want to call that, 4, representing the harvest you had from that field. You will always combine the same amount or the same color to form one number. So let's say I have the Merlot and the Sangiovese here, then I would get a red 4 and not 1 and 1 3. Also, the total number of these values may not exceed the number on the field. So this 7 total can only actually be planted on the 7th field and not on the 6 or the 5 field. But at the beginning of the game, you might want to sell 1 or 2 of these fields to get some starting money to invest in, for example, build things. Because you can just put the Sangiovese onto your field because it has no additional requirements. However, the Merlot up here has a little building displayed on it. I hope you can see that, which is the irrigation building, which you need to build in order to plant this kind of grape. So you have to go to the worker spot that allows you to build a building, pay 3 money, and if I can find it, then you take this little irrigation meeple and place it on here to just mark that you have that now. The same, some things like the Chardonnay actually needs, in addition to the irrigation, also a trellis. That's over here, costs 2. Another thing you need to build. You can already see that you have to kind of decide what you want to do. Do you want to plant grapes and harvest them, or do you want to improve your fields to be able to harvest or to get more and better wine types into your cellar at the end? There are other utility buildings here, like the cottage, which allows you to draw an additional visitor card during fall, or the windmill, which gives you a victory point whenever you plant a vine, or the tasting room that gives, whenever you give a vineyard tour and you have at least one wine bottle stored down here, you gain a victory point because people are coming over, getting drunk, and spread the word that, hey, that's pretty rad, getting drunk at your place. So after you have placed your little grape down here with the make wine action, you just move it over to the corresponding place in the cellar. So let's say we have a 3 red grape over here and I make wine, then I may move that over to the 3 red wine. Which cellar is available to you depends on what you have built. You will always have the small cellar, which allows you to make wine bottles of wine up to a level of 3, let's call it that way. But if you want to go higher, you need a medium cellar or even a large cellar if you want to do the sparkling wine. Because red wine or red grapes not only make red wine and white grapes not only make white wine, but you can combine them. You can, for example, spend a white and red grape, add that together and make a rosé, or it's blush. Sorry, we call it rosé, but
yeah,
it's
the same thing.
To make a blush wine, which is down here, or you can combine 1 white and 2 red and add the numbers together to make a sparkling wine to get that over here. Why do you want to do that? Well, one of the big things in this game are these purple order cards, which will tell you what you have to do in order to score some victory points. So for this one, you have to deliver a wine that has at least a quality of 8, a red wine, denoted up here. For that, you would get 4 victory points, and this little symbol means that your what's it called, residential income is increased by residual income is increased by 1. It's on the other board.
Yeah.
Then this one is a little bit harder to achieve because you need a red, a white, and the blush wine of the values 2, 2, and 5. But this gives you 5 victory points and will increase your income by 2. Or even this one, which is even more difficult to achieve by getting a white of 2 and a sparkling wine of 8, which will give you 6 victory points and 2 income. And yes, you always have to spend a worker action. And talking about that, one of the really nice things, and I might spoil one of the what do I like sections here, are the little meeples. You have actually little farmer meeples that you will spend on there and see what they can do. How many, you ask? That kind of, it's mostly the same, but that depends on your starting conditions. And this game comes with, or is kind of the essential edition we picked up at Essen. So it includes some of the expansions. One is called the Mamas and the Papas, which gives you a different mama and a different papa, which describe your starting conditions. Like you start with a green card and 2 purple cards, 2 workers here, 5 coins, a big worker, and either the trellis or 1 coin, and you may decide which one of those 2 you want to pick. The bigger worker is, just in comparison, slightly bigger, and for example, allows you to use a space even though someone else has already blocked that off. So that is kind of your chance in the game to run an action that everybody else has already taken and filled up those spaces that are available in front. So those are pretty handy in the game. And I think the last thing I still have to show you are the visitor cards. As I said, they're pretty much the same. These are for summer, these are for winter. Let's take a look at the summer cards. For example, this one says there's a planner coming around, and it allows you to place a work on an action in a future season. Take that action at the beginning of that season, which is also pretty handy. Or the landscaper, draw 1 green card and plant 1 green card, or switch 2 green cards on your field so you may rearrange stuff. because you cannot just get rid of your plants on fields unless you have a specific action. You actually need to build a building to get that done. So let's go for the winter card. So this one, the scholar says, draw 2 purple cards or pay 3 coins to train a meeple, and you may lose 1 victory coin and do both. Which some of these also have where you may choose what you want to do. In general, you could say the summer visitor cards are all about actions that happen in summer, and from a flavor kind of event type, it also fits there. The winter stuff goes more for the winter things. Some allow you to, make more wine, or to fill an order, or do some other stuff that is kind of interesting. As I said, the game ends immediately in the round when the first player reaches 20 points. So you actually don't know how long you're going to play, but it'll kind of end up in the same space. One of the interesting things about this is, while you may most likely win by making wine and filling orders, that is not necessarily a thing that you have to do, because there are always other things on the board that allow you to make victory points, like show people around and not actually sell them wine, but just let them taste wine. That one may be slow and it can rank up, but it is actually possible to win the game without even selling or filling 1 order of wine if you want to. It's not easy. But
we're going to talk about that later.
But it is possible. So you have your bunch of workers. One thing I certainly want to show is the rest of the meeples. I've already showed you the rooster, but there's the trellis, there's a little windmill, and if you haven't guessed so far, it's the Jamie Stegmaier game. So yes, these are pretty good in terms of components. Another thing I like very much about that, and I just want to show that quickly. Oh, Rusche. Another German special word, is the insert. Pretty much everything is right out of the box playable in here, and these little glass beads are really nice too. Then you have the money. Can you take that, please? And that's that. The game itself is 1 to 6 players. Yes, there's a version in here, a variant how to automate an enemy player and play this as a solo version. Says 13 and plus, although, it's more fun if you're allowed to actually drink wine while playing this. And 45 to 90 minutes, and I would say, yes, that's pretty much where this game is at. And right away, when we're now going already into the what we liked and we disliked, I think the last thing is, this is the manual. It looks a lot more than it actually is, because this game is quite simple to play, and easy enough even for my mother-in-law to pick it up in the first turn and do really well with it. Which either is a testament to how bad we are at this game, which is very much likely, and which is very much likely.
I'm gonna say a bit about the game with my mom when we hit the 3rd section of the game.
So she cheated?
No, she did not. There's something about the game that I like a lot too, that helped her getting into the game so quickly. And I'm gonna tell about that later.
So yeah, the manual is there, and it's actually you were the one.
I was the one
who read it first.
And it's very, very straightforward, very simple. There's also a reference guide, just a little 2-sided printed sheet coming with a game that tells you all about the different kind of meeples that you get. Just a quick reference, like, that's the one. It looks like this, and it does that and that you don't have to flip through the manual again and again. So I really, really enjoyed it, and it was very easy to teach. There's a lot of pictures with it that pretty much show you what the text explains, which I also like a lot about manuals. So this was very easy to get into. Do you want to start with the likes? Because you hit I just already
want to add one thing. If that did not convince you yet, the dude who chose which parts of the Tuscany expansion are to be included is a designer, which is of some people you might have heard him. His name is Uwe Rosenberg. So also someone who certainly knows
his way around Eurogames
and worker placement games. So
yeah.
No, I have wine to drink, and
Yeah,
you
because
almost
I'm
are
already
done with yours.
yes, because I listen soon to your. So anyway, let me share a bit about what I liked about this game, or maybe not liked. So first of all, spoiler: I really like this game.
What I probably won't like. I really like this game.
Now there's very many things that I like a lot about this game. There's one thing where I say, okay, but it's not too bad. Well, maybe let's start off with that. Again, topic of the tiny cards. And yes, you don't hold them in your hand per se all the time, though the cards are hidden from the other players. But what we did a lot of times, we just look at them and put them down. So you don't hold them in your hand a lot. Me having the tiny hands, I don't have a big problem with it. With you, it's like fumble all over the place. So that was one thing. It's like, one of those games again. The thing that I did not really like about it, but I like about all the other components, they're laminated and they're effing slippery. So even if you just have them on the board, on your pile to draw, they wibble all over the place if you're not careful or a clumsy person in the household like I am. So that was the only thing where I was like, not perfect, but manageable. So I don't mind as much, and we only drink so much wine when we play. So there's
the game gets really difficult to handle after the first, let's say, 40 minutes.
Yes.
Or 2 bottles.
Oh, that's why I'm always losing. Now I get it. But all the rest of the components is really lovely. I do like just, aside from the artwork, I do just like the touch of them. They're very sturdy. The boards don't warp and nothing there. And the highlight of the components, yes, they are the meeples. Kudos to the publisher who went forward and did go the extra mile to make it just very cutesy components to place on your boards to show which buildings you've already built. You could have had other markers. They're just tiny cubes to put on top and say, yeah, I built that. But it's really lovely to see, well, publishers go the extra mile and make something nice. So I really, really like that.
I mean, Stonemaier Games by now, I think, is the publisher who's well known for doing really high quality.
Yeah, and again, they did it, so I really love those. The artwork is kind of generic, but it is in the it's in the field of worker placement Euro games, so it's recognizable. There's no particular style to it. Like I said, it's a bit generic, but again, you open it up and it tells you, I'm a Euro game, I'm a worker placement game. So I really like that. It puts you in there, and it has some very cute and very accurate artwork when it comes to the subject, which is wine. Now, I said it in the best of 2015 video already, but what puts this game over another very, very lovely Euro game, Orléans, is the theme and the way the designer made the real life process of winemaking into a game. It's so accurate, and it's just things that I remember and recognize. So I really like how close to real life processes in winemaking they made the game, which is huge for me, because if I like something or love something like wine, for example, I really wanted to be real represented onto the game. So achieved there, and I really liked it. And it's so accurate that I could just slip maybe some information and be a total smart ass when it comes to playing. Like, yeah, this grape is like this and this. Teach him a bit, you know? So
although I might say directly to that, from my perspective, who I won't send wine away.
Yeah, but
I'm
you're
not
not
allergic to wine, but I'm not super.
You're not interested in how wine is made.
However, I think to me the theme here is so appealing because it ties the game mechanics really nicely together in terms of
so exceptionally well.
Compared to other worker placements or any game where you have to have an engine that is going for you, even something like a deck building game. There's usually a theme that kind of appears and does something. Here it is. It just,
you feel like the farmer.
It feels to me very streamlined, as in terms of what I'm doing is very streamlined. I know the grapes have to come in, and then I have to crush them, then I have to fill them, and why that may sound trivial to you, but through that cycle, you always kind of know what you want to do next, but apart from what you want to do next, you still are looking left and right. What can I do to optimize what I'm doing?
And here's one thing which ties back into the experience with my mom a bit. Sometimes, not always. It depends on my mood. And this game did it very, very well. That's why I want to point it out as a like. The theme takes away a bit the overwhelming thing or the overwhelming feel that you might have when you start a Eurogame or worker placement game. There's so many options on the board that you get explained at the beginning of the game. But if you somehow know how wine is made, it's like, this is not interesting right now. We're in summer. I cannot harvest right now. I have to blend because this is how you can. But, I cannot fill any wine orders right now. Why would I even think about these things? They're in winter. Yeah. Because it represents real life. So it made it easy for me, the first game, to just push aside the options that I know are in the game that would maybe overwhelm me or have me figure out things longer. I did get it first round of the game, and I really like that. But that does not need to happen for you if you're not into wine and winemaking, if you're not interested or knowledgeable how this actually works and kind of a nerd about it.
But even then.
But this helped a lot.
Obviously, I think if you like wine, that will help a lot.
Yes.
But I would pose that even in comparison to other games, even worker placement games that are also about harvesting and stuff, I have to say this is a lot of what's happening here is really common sense. There's no abstract game mechanical strategy that you necessarily have to learn and apply to be, let's say, mediocre to upper level in terms of.
For example, I did, though I do compare it to Orléans because I really like Orléans. Yeah. It's the most recent other worker placement game that we got, but actually it's more in the haven't played this a bit more. I do compare it more to Caverna, and they're exactly with these two games, the common sense versus I'm not in a universe where I have to have common sense necessarily is very big. So this one is like, it's totally obvious. You gotta go there, or this is what I have. I can only achieve that, and it will give me some benefits there. So of course I'm going down that path. So it was particularly strong with this game.
I would say this. I wouldn't go so far to say that this is a gateway game, but
no, I wouldn't say that.
If I want to bring out a Euro game or a worker placement game, for that matter, and I know there's someone at the table who hasn't played much or many of those or any at all, I think I will now go to Viticulture as being my first choice in going there. Just because the theme makes things so much easier it's
grounded
to
in
explain.
real life in comparison to other games.
And it is something, even if someone does not even know what a worker placement game is, it makes immediate sense to you have a workforce, you will send them out to do different tasks. And so, I think there's few games out in general where theme fits really well with all the rest together. I think this is one of those games, and nicely rounded up with components and stuff.
Yes. So this was my biggest just it draws you right in. And I mean, for me personally, yes, the theme. Come on. I'm a wine nerd.
Let me get another.
I'm a wine nerd. I do like wine. I like to drink wine, of course. But I'm very
No cheese.
interested. Yes, no cheese. I'm very interested in how the wine is made, how it's Kelton, another German word, and
I have no idea what you're talking
like how you get the grapes into the bottle, how you take the taste essences and
one by one.
Yeah, one by one. So there's
Crushing and...
I mean, I did spend a summer vacation on a vineyard, for God's sakes. So, and I really liked it. So, and not only because I was 13 years old and was allowed to drink wine with my parents.
You can remember all 2 days out of that 6-week vacation.
No, it was 3 weeks. And
You're sure that it was 3 weeks?
Yes.
Not more?
3 weeks in Normandy and 3 weeks in Bourgogne. So we were in France on a summer vacation and I really loved it. And I mean, yeah, I was, again, 13 years old and I was allowed to taste wine and go with the dudes, with the farmer onto the vineyard and go into the cellars and see how it's actually done. Like, really learn about winemaking. So I think my love for wine grew there instead of beer. Beer making, whatever. I don't, whatever. So the theme fits particularly well for me, but I think it's very appealing to other people too. And again, it grounds you in real life, which I really like about this game. It takes away all the overwhelming and kind of scary things for new players, for worker placement or Euro games. And before we rate, this is exactly, you have to remember, this is exactly where I want to start with the experiences then.
Sure.
With that thing.
Actually, we haven't discussed this, but how about we change something about the rating we do? Instead of giving an arbitrary number, we could both just say we each one thumb up, thumb side, thumb down, and go with the Siskel and Ebert way of rating things. So it'll get a 2 thumbs up from us both, or 1 thumb up, 1 thumb side. Or is that too trivial for you?
Can I, for other games, I mean, for this one, it's very clear, but can I go not only the 3, but say 5?
Yeah, it's all right.
Like a clock?
Yeah, sure.
So, okay,
I'm
fine for that.
Like a clock that is only
half a clock, because we're cheap. No, I like that. So for me, it's... I have 2 hands. I'm a cheater. No,
so
it's a...
two thumbs up from us.
Very much so. So, yeah, before I forget, funny stories, experiences. What I wanted to tell before you can tell the other story, not winning or winning the game without doing any wine stuff. I'm telling the one with my mom. Mm-hmm. So we played it a couple of times and we played it on Christmas last year. It's 2016. Last year, Christmas, my mom was here and we played a lot of games. Sorry, one of them being Viticulture. Now, my mom is a very casual gamer. And if she's in the right mood, she could really go for the bigger games like Euro games or long, really thinky games, but usually not. So this Christmas, she was in the mood. And we got out Viticulture saying, yeah, it's a heavy Euro game. Or, no, we only said it afterwards. So we just said, it's a game about winemaking and blah, 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 blah. So she struggled a tiny bit because of the language on the cards. But we played with open cards.
Yeah, and the cards are in English.
Yeah, so she had a bit of a struggle. And she just, once in a while, said, am I understanding this right? When it came to translation. But other than that, she was in the game so goddamn quick. It was amazing. And she had really a lot of fun. And her opinion was, yeah, it's very, very close to the real process of winemaking. So that's what made it also easier for her to get into that very complex game. And only afterwards, came in second. I was the loser again, but I was drinking wine, so I was the winner. So
I crushed them like the little grapes they are.
Yeah, but it's like 2 or 3 points before my mom, so very, very close. Yeah. She came in second, and only after we finished the game, Daniel told her, so this is a Euro game, it's a worker placement game, it's one of the complex and heavy games that we do play, and she was kind of surprised, like, oh! Yeah. So she was kind of scared of those games before, and it's like, oh, this is what it is. So I guess in the future she won't be scared anymore, and we can maybe try other games with her.
We played another one with her right afterwards.
Yes.
With a different game, which we haven't talked about here yet. But yeah, just to give you the contrast there, usually I think games like Quirkle or Quicks and
Takenoko. She really
Takenoko
liked
is actually a little bit more complicated.
But it has a cutesy factor.
Or stuff like King of Tokyo. So that's
she liked Concept, and Dixit is her favorite game.
I think you might see where we're coming from, saying this is a heavy Euro in comparison to something like Quirkle there.
Yeah, but she was really surprised, and I think we took away the scare of Eurogames a bit for her. So maybe
I don't think there was one.
She was hesitant before. When we like a year earlier, New Year's Eve, we played with my parents, and when she said, okay, we went to their house, and she said, okay, just bring the lighter games, right? So she said it, and also when I went on vacation with them to the Baltic Sea in January, she said, yeah, you bring the games, but bring the light ones, right? So she always was kind of hesitant, and I mean, I think it's just like you learn a new game that we are already familiar with, and like getting all that information and maybe being not in the best mood or spot when it comes to remembering and stuff. So maybe she was scared by that a bit. But she likes touching games, so she was really in love with this one with the minis, like just haptic experience there. She really likes that. And this one was a winner for her. So, yeah. And you can now tell the Tina story, because you can win at this game without filling wine orders.
We don't want to...
It was cool.
I don't want to name names, but...
There was someone.
Certain people who don't play the game as it should be played.
They don't play it right.
Yes. They're wrong in their ways.
But they win.
Still they're wrong.
Yes.
Might play these games with only the intent of making victory points by playing cards, stealing victory points from other people. And I just want to point out that that's the type of folk that I really despise.
Because they took away the victory.
Not because I lost, but because they won.
Yeah, right. No, it's really doable. I was amazed, because I thought, this is not the purpose. You have to be really lucky with the cards you draw, that you can really steal a lot of victory points from other people. Yeah,
but I think she also was really lucky in
drawing was very lucky.
Just those visitor cards. Or, well, not just those, but
mostly.
She had the luck of the draw there, having a lot of cards that allowed her to gain victory points or gain victory points from other players. And
then there was the thing, we played with 4 people at that game, and she didn't... Well, she had no luck with the rooster, so she didn't have the choice of where to go first or second. So the spots always were filled up and crowded, and she would have to place her big worker right away if she would have wanted other actions. So there was no appeal for her in going the usual way to play the game. So with that being said, and the lucky draw with the cards, of course, I would have gone the same route, but it was amazing. She got so many victory points, and she was quite ahead of it. It's like 4, 5, 6 points, something like that.
That also tied into, at least I remember that I had purple cards that were kind of required high value wines.
Yes,
and
I had medium wines.
And either I had grapes that I couldn't plant, or grapes that didn't help me, or orders that I couldn't fill in the foreseeable future. So I went out and tried to draw new cards, drew more crap, kind of, that I couldn't use. Yeah. Erstwhile she came in and had cards which said something. I think it said something like
you can,
if she gets a victory point,
we
if
can
another player is doing something.
Yeah, you can. Every other player can train a worker for free. If they do, you get a victory point. Of course, we trained a worker for free because she got that card right at the beginning or very early in the game. So there was benefit for us as well. So we went for what she offered, and she had a lot of those cards where
she had a lot to offer.
She had a lot to offer and got victory points for it. So it was, really, really awesome. We played the game 3, 4, 5 times by now, if I remember correctly. We played it most of the times just the two of us, but that's because we live together.
We played it with 2, with 3, with 4, and with 5 one time?
No, 5 I can't remember. No. We had my mom, we had Styx and Tina, and the 2 of us. That's what I remember. I don't remember it with 5 players, but I could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm here. I'm remembering everything correctly. So yeah, but here's a very special shout out. Thank you, Bruce, for making him buying that game.
Yeah, there's certain people in our circle of friends who not only, you can't really call it insisting on grabbing this and playing this.
They're almost, more like they're ushering you to the right decision.
Actually, it had a more of a threatening tone. It's like,
really? You better buy that game for your wife. She will love it. Something like that?
No, it's like, you must play this right now. It's the best game ever made.
And he was not off. It's not the best game. That was Ghost Stories, but it's very high in my ranking. So I really like it. It was a good call, Bruce. Thank you very much. And I do have an excuse to drink wine whenever we play Viticulture, which I could say, since he likes the game, I can say, honey, tonight we're playing Viticulture. Next day, honey, tonight we're playing Viticulture.
My excuse to drink wine is just to make a video on YouTube.
Yes, because
my excuse is much better than yours.
It's a reward. Well, I would be an alcoholic if I had that as a reward. I'm shooting 7 videos a week, so come on, I'm not gonna go there. But anyways, these were our thoughts about the game. Anything to add, or shall we wrap up?
I think we're fine. Again, if you found something super annoying about video audio quality, let us know in the comments.
So that we can fix it by next week.
If not, if you liked it, that's a comment we also appreciate. But yeah,
it takes away the guessing. So we'd love to have some feedback there.
At least you don't see it. Now we can do this as a full Hitchcock YouTube video, just
without jump cuts.
One take, straight through, not jump cutting, having to get up and restart the camera or change the batteries.
Yeah, and it actually saves a lot of editing time. That's why we actually made that decision to switch cameras, because of the editing time.
Hopefully you can hear me better, because I realized that some folks complained about me being very silent.
Well,
I have this really deep voice.
Yeah, well.
And when I talk with my deep voice, then I don't know where I'm going with this. So.
No, it's just my voice is very loud compared to yours, and
what?
we can. Yeah, what? I can go really high, and even if I speak
you can go upstairs.
For the editing later, babe. But yeah, it's really difficult to edit one audio stream with 2 very different voices when it comes to decibel and So
I
yeah,
mean,
you always lost. I'm
still,
sorry.
We still have that, but hopefully it's...
Oh, maybe not as much because we pick up 2 mics. So yeah.
we'll see.
Anyway, we will see. Let us know, please, 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 please. Let us know if you have any comments about that, because we're really curious. We want to not only entertain you with our stupid videos.
We want to entertain ourselves. That's why we... Oh.
No, we want to make it in a way that you can, well, walk away from the video once you've finished watching it, like to the end,
Or walk away right at the start of the video, because
without bleeding ears and.
I think if their ears are bleeding, they're not walking away anymore.
Who knows? Maybe ER is right around the corner. Who knows? Anyway. We're rambling. We're gonna wrap it up now. Thanks for watching. If you feel like giving us a thumbs up because we're so awesome and funny and weird and blah and real, we would very much appreciate it. We're total Mantis style. Real. We would very much appreciate that.
This is so going downhill fast.
Yeah, so fast. Also, if you feel like sharing it with your friends, go ahead. We'd very much appreciate it. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, because every Sunday we do have one of those weird videos out with information, like real information, but otherwise totally weird.
The real scoop.
And if you're a board gamer who likes artwork as well, I launched a new series with my dear friend Tina. We are painting scenes from board games every Wednesday. So look for the Draw for Initiative on my channel, and yeah. Hop on over. Check it out. It was bloody in last week. And next week, it's going to be a different one. I was just about to tease. And then I said no to myself.
And I will say, see you next week on the couch with us. Goodbye.